It's TMNT time! Hello and welcome to another figure review. Today we're going to have a look at the Neca Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4-pack based on the Mirage Turtles, but not the original design which we got like all these years ago. These are the ones which are based on the comic book Return to New York, and actually a lot closer to the design of the Turtles we would get in the future, like in any kind of media. But I'm trying to get this open. Open it on the front, boom, on the upper hand. So as it is the style of Neca, you can display them in the box. It's actually nicely done, got some cool artwork, like kind of the street as they stand there menacingly, but I don't want to do that. I want to take them out of the box and have a look at the figures. So let's go. Finally got them out of the packaging, and I gotta say, this just hits right. These are like the big bulky versions of the TMNT, which I really much enjoy. And for the record, yes, it's 4 times the same figure, but that's the beauty when you have the TMNT license, I guess. But for the record, this is Leonardo, you can tell, because he's the only one who does have some extra added to his belt to wear his swords. And this one's Donatello because he also has a little storage in the back for his bow staff. And at least 2 more guys, which, well, none of them have anything to store the weapons, weirdly enough. But one's looking angry and one's looking happy. So I let you guess which one is which. Yeah, this is Raph, this is Mikey. Just for the record. Now, size of the Turtles. He stands at about, let's see, 14, a little over 14 centimeters to the top of the head, if my camera would focus. A little over 14 centimeters, top of the head. And for your inches, that means we are going up to very close to 6 inches tall. Size comparisons.
Here's Jolter, the SH Figure Art Son Goku, Neca Arcade Michelangelo, the previous Mirage Leonardo, the original 1990 movie Raphael, Neca Shredder, and Darkseid.
This is quite the beautiful sight, and I love this gang. Really having a look at all the detail that goes through them. I'm just gonna start off with Leonardo and show you most of it. Obviously, we do have a different head sculpt, and everything is interchangeable, of course. So that's another thing. If you don't like this head on Leonardo, you can switch it around. I mean, what matters is really the body, because there's the difference. Because I talked about Michelangelo and Raph looking the same, but I'll get to that in a second. There's some slight shading going on throughout the figure, and we have a little bit on the head. And as you can tell, I really want to go in deeply here, because the entire skin is molded with some ripples, with some wrinkles in there. So that makes it look a lot more reptilian. And as you can tell, there's some shading going on. It's a little random, it's a little over here and it's a little over there, but it really brings out the best of the figure. And then we got all the cartoon lines, well, cartoon comic book lines that go throughout it. Some are like really thick, and then we have like the thin kind of hairlines around it. And again, it looks beautiful, just straight out of the comic book. And of course, we do have the belt with the little metal pieces and the sheaths in the back to hold on to the swords. I'll get to that in a second. Also, the shell was beautifully molded, and the paint really just elevates it. I feel like it's really subtle tones here and there, and I think like you're holding it onto light and you notice how there's like brighter tones, just a tiny teensy bit. It's not too much, and I think it's just the right amount. Also, we do see more of the detail in the back. You can see like there's a little bit of a thicker line of green in the middle. So once again, the mold does stand out because it doesn't cover all the wrinkles, and that's intentional, and that looks great. So there we got Leonardo in all of his glory, stands out due to the belt. Donatello also stands out due to the belt. Let's have a quick shot side by side. But there is also the line work, especially in the shell in the front. It's different for all of them, so at least that also separates them other than the belts. If you're looking for some small details, which, you know, it is a small detail, but hey, at least there's a way to keep them apart somewhat, because this one's a lot more crazy in the lines, and with him the lines also go like just from side to side. So that's Donatello. Doesn't have the more calm face. This face is actually kind of weird, but still. And then we got the angry face, and he has the most scratches in the front of his well, kind of lines up with Leonardo, but a little bit more. And once again, that makes sense. Raph, he's the rude dude, and he's angry, as you can tell. They have like the very small mask and the small eyes also, but very beautifully painted. Just want to have a look at that real quick, because it's nicely done. Bandana wraps around over the side. We do get some more bandanas for action poses. I'll cover that once we get to the articulation. Not articulation, but accessories is what I meant. And also you do have the tiny turtle tail, which I think this is the last time we're gonna see that one. I don't know, they cut the turtle tails. They cut their tails! Monsters. I guess that wasn't kid-friendly enough. And then finally, yeah, there's the happy dude. I feel like he has like the least scratches. He's kind of closer to Donatello, but not the same. Also, once again, a lot more side-to-side line work, but he's happy. And the teeth are very cleanly done. So, I feel like the master has a little bit of unclean paint job, which, who was it? One of them also has the shell botched. Not these two guys. But you can see like the paint in there, like without the, who was it? Was it Raph? Yeah, you have a botched paint job on the shell, unfortunately. Kinda didn't let it dry there, chiefs. For the articulation, it's actually not as many frozen joints this time around, which I'm very happy about. So, first and foremost, the head goes back and forth, does tilt side to side, and does also go all the way around as a swivel, but finally you can also shift it back and forth, which is very nice. So I don't know how that works, but I'm thinking there's just a ball joint in there. Then, for your shoulder, we do have a hinge, kind of trying to give this a little bit more of a push, but I don't think you get it much more out than that. A little bit disappointing, but you can also rotate it on this joint, and you do have a bicep swivel. Everything is still kind of stiff, but that's good because that means it stays in place. It's not wobbly. Big fan of that. Then we have the double hinged elbow, nicely covered up by the elbow pad, and it looks good. And then the hands, you have the wrist joint, so you can swivel that, and you do have the hinge for some back and forth motion. Probably a lot more, but once again, it's is this one unfrozen? Yeah, there you go. There you go. Alright, I feel like doing a workout every time I try to move these guys around. But that's, again, good because it means it's not wobbly. I just wish it wasn't so much frozen. Then we have the hip part. You can rotate that around just a little bit, so that's like the only thing you get out of the entire torso area, but that's to be expected because, well, sometimes they have like cut up pieces in here, but at the end of the day, you're not really getting that much out of it with turtles because you always have the big shell, and if you cut all this up and make joints over there, it looks like crap, and I don't like that. So I'm okay with the sacrifices for that. The leg moves forward, doesn't really move to the back because of the shell, and then it moves out. Also quite beautifully, so very good leg joint. The swivel on there, and you do have the double hinged knee. Goes up. Ah, he's so thick. He's so freaking chunky. And then the foot, okay, goes side to side, goes forward, and goes to the back. So posability is quite nice. For your accessories, we have a bunch of cool stuff. So obviously everything is completely interchangeable, and you can play around with that. So have fun with it. First and foremost, you have this, excuse me, you have this kind of leather hood, which is all ripped up, nicely molded, and again with the paint, and even the shading in there, looks good. Rubbery piece, can just drape that over, and then you have like an arm which has like an extra band, or like a bandage around it on the upper half over here, once again. Nicely painted, nicely done, and then we got your standard TMNT weapons. You got the bow staff for Donatello, got the same amount of detail on there with the paint in there. And we have the nunchucks for Michelangelo. We don't have, I guess during this time he just had rope nunchucks, unfortunately. No chain in the middle. Also there's no paint on the handles for whatever reason, because everybody else has paint. I guess it's just wood, but you could have done like a little bit more of that, I guess. Then we got the swords. Is it just, do they look a little bit too bright? I don't really like the baby blue color with like, the turtles look kind of darker, and then you have like this baby blue kind of paint job on the blades and also on the sides. So I don't know how I feel about the color. I think it's a little bit too bright, a little bit too lovely. And then we have like these ninja stars, which also look kind of weird, but they did look like that in the comic, if I remember correctly. So very spiky. Pizza cutter. And then we got the hands. We got these open posing hands and these chop hands. The fist hands, which are painted, and none of the other ones are painted. Once again, like, I get it that you really want to elevate it with the line work, but you could have done line work in all of the other ones too, but you didn't. So, kind of inconsistent, but still cool, I guess. They didn't even have to paint the fists. And there you go. Oh, and there's also the bandanas. I forgot to show them, but here's like for your action poses, bandanas that don't just kind of, are just kind of draped over the shoulder. You have 4 of these. Final thoughts! I love these guys. Really capture the look of the comic book, and Neca really excels at making beautiful molds, big, beefy guys, and the comic book lines really bring this set to life. One thing that I would have liked would have been maybe alternative hats with the bandanas painted. Like, I don't know if that, like, in that specific comic run they got the colored bandanas, but you know, down the line they would have, and it would have been a nice bonus just to do that. Maybe like some exclusive down the line which will cover that. And also, like, when I look at these guys, I kind of get vibes of the 2003 TMNT show, which they're like big and bulky, a little more stylized than these guys, but still it's fairly close to me, like just fairly close. Or maybe I'm just coping. Anyway, I mean, these figures are great, look great. Articulation is fine. I mean, it's standard for Neca. They don't go for like the super duper articulation, but I mean, you still get some cool pose out of it, and it's still stable, it's still tight, and I love it. And also the accessories, covers, everything you really need. So there you go. That's gonna do it, guys, as usual. Oh yeah, recommended, of course. That's gonna do it, guys, as usual. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, if you enjoyed this review, hit it up with a like and subscribe to the channel so you can stay tuned for more figure reviews, card game stuff, and whatever. The Neca Mirage Turtles 1.